best I've ever seen. It's taken the NFL a while to figure out the holidays and the international stuff. What jumped out to me was Thanksgiving Eve, Packers, Rams. Thanksgiving, Bears, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Black Friday, Broncos, Steelers. One of those teams, I think about defense, Pittsburgh, and that's only because they overspend on it. Aaron Rodgers is the biggest star on the team. He's the quarterback. Then you go to the Christmas Eve games, Texans, Eagles, Packers, Bears, Bills, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks. I'm sorry, it's a lot of star quarterbacks. Only the Texans, I would say, I think of defense first. You could really see the change. It's star quarterbacks, it's star offensive coaches. It is, you could say, well, the Seahawks, JSN and Sam Darnold are moving a lot of jerseys, not the defensive ends. Offense is easier to sell. It's where our imagination gravitates to. And so for me, when I looked at these Christmas and Thanksgiving schedules, knock on wood, everybody stays healthy for Fox. Those are great schedules. Those are unbelievable schedules. Star coaches, star quarterbacks, not going to be a lot of, field goals. My entire life, and just because the NFL is well run, doesn't mean they got the schedules figured out years ago. The Thanksgiving slate, my entire life, there's been that one game you nap to. You're not really a fan. You're more tryptophan. You're trying to figure out, I got a little, I'm going to sleep through the Lions game. The NFL has really evolved on these holiday schedules, is that they don't just put games on. It is star quarterbacks. It is the biggest games. It's the best games. These are great. I mean, Packers, Rams, that's best game of the weekend. Oh, wait. Or is it Eagles at Cowboys is best game of the weekend?
Yeah, Colin just accidentally let it slip that Jalen Hurts is a star quarterback, baby. Huh? He got caught. He got caught red-handed. He didn't even realize what was coming out of his mouth. He just inadvertently admitted that Jalen Hurts is a legitimate star quarterback who moves a ton of merchandise. If you want to bring up Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba, well, before the Eagles even won the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley were first and third on the list of most merch sold among all players. Patrick Mahomes was number 2, I believe. So yeah, pretty funny stuff. Pretty amusing. I'll be talking about all the other schedule releases later as things progress. I'm not entirely sure yet. This is the first clip I'm recording right now. So I'm trying to figure out the best approach. I want to be able to make a schedule release video for every single team. I think I underestimated how fired up people get about schedule releases. I just didn't fully grasp it, honestly. Real talk. So I wish I had been recording videos earlier today, but I'm going to try to record as much as I can, post a lot on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm still trying to figure out Friday right now because it's already kind of late in the day, and a lot of people aren't necessarily watching videos on Friday night. So I'm still sorting that out, but I'll just focus right now on the Thanksgiving schedule itself, and then also on Christmas and such. And yeah, man. It's obvious what the people want to see. I really had this aha moment, and I was thinking about this heading into what I thought would be making first things first videos. I just knew it was going to be a lot of Chiefs stuff. It was going to be like, oh, shocked to see the Kansas City Chiefs have 5 primetime games or something. Believe Patrick Mahomes will be able to, blah, blah, blah. That's what my mind was already preparing for. And first things first isn't on right now. But it really helped me flesh out some takes I was considering as I prepared to enter the 24/7 Kansas City Chiefs obsession. And when you see other games like this and other matchups like this, it made me realize, and I'm combining this also with the Tom Brady roast where he kind of made fun of Dallas Cowboys fans, that there really are different levels of fans. There are certain fan bases like the Eagles, the Packers, the Bears, those fan bases are so massive and so locked in. I was talking about this with Grover, who's a huge Cowboys fan, and he mentioned that as a Cowboys fan, he knows there are a lot of people who just don't really know that much. And it's interesting because that can shape the conversation, and then it shapes the media conversation. It really dawned on me, take the Eagles. The Eagles are such a perfect gold standard for this. There are other teams that we come up with things to talk about simply because we know they're popular, so we kind of want to discuss them. They do this with the Dallas Cowboys all the time. It's always Jerry Jones said this, and it's just because we want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys right now, so this is what we're doing. You could make that argument kind of with a Jalen Hurts, like, oh, they just want to talk about the Eagles, but at least it's a little more practical. At least there's something there. Even though I obviously disagreed with the reporting of the anonymous sources, at least it was an actual thing, right? It was real. There was substance to it. It was actually someone trying to report on it and do a whole piece. It wasn't like, here's a video of Patrick Mahomes in the gym doing jumping jacks. And it made me realize there's so much more thirst for real fandom, real intensity. And when you have a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, again, same with the Bears, the Packers, my experience is that these are the really locked-in fans. Because you have the casual fans, which people always say is a bad thing. And I'm always trying to think of a different word, like a general fan. I consider myself a general fan, where I'm locked in for all the teams. I'm into all of it. I want to watch the Bears, the Lions, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Packers, the Rams, right? I want to watch all of it. And not only do I want to watch all of it, but I want to understand it and be as dialed in as possible. But when you have a team right now like the Chiefs, who are obviously incredibly popular, it's definitely surface-level popularity. It's more like, oh, the Chiefs are playing on Sunday. And it's more just about the viewership numbers of the games and less about the actual conversations. And I really had this aha moment because, again, if we're talking about social media or YouTube or wherever, people are willing to have such deeper, more intense, locked-in conversations about the Eagles, about the Bears. And those Bears fans or those Eagles fans will then also watch conversations about the Bills or about the Broncos, right? I see that all the time. And outside of the actual Chiefs fans who I know, who are pretty much the version of the Eagles fans that I'm talking about, those are so much fewer and farther between. It's just so much more of a rarity. There's a handful of Chiefs fans that I interact with all the time, and it's because I know they also want to talk about the Eagles. They want to talk about the Bills. They're locked in. But it's so inflated with so many other fans who are not locked in. So at the end of the day, think about how the Chiefs and the Bills had to be kind of leveraged, for instance. The Chiefs and the Bills, or the Chiefs and the Cowboys, that's going to be box office, obviously, because it's Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. But some of these other games, some of these other matchups, Packers-Rams, Bears-Lions, Eagles-Cowboys, no leverage is needed. No leverage is required, because they're going to be so massive, so huge, so locked in. Get after it. And again, I want to be very clear, I'm not downplaying the draw that the Chiefs bring. But from my viewpoint, there is absolutely a fragility to it. And Nick has admitted this to a degree. It's just that this team is so popular, so successful because of what Mahomes and Andy and Spags have built, that once that moves on, he admitted, I don't know what's going to happen to the Chiefs. But we know what happens to the Bears. We know what happens to the Packers. We know what happens to the Eagles. We know what happens to these absolute bona fide blue blood franchises. They're still massively popular. They're still massively popular and so important. And so it's cool for Thanksgiving to see games that will not only matter, but also feature interesting matchups with interesting quarterback combinations. Look, I'm always a little on the fence about Thanksgiving games. Because I love them, especially once I started making videos and having these conversations, I like them. But I also have a lot of little kids in my life now, like lots of nieces and nephews and whatnot. So that's more where my focus is, and it's harder to really watch these games and lock in. And so some of these matchups, I think they're so awesome, like the Chiefs and the Bills is such an awesome matchup that it doesn't need to be leveraged with Thanksgiving. Same thing with the Eagles and the Cowboys, and the Bears and the Lions. But I think what the NFL has kind of realized is that it's synergy. They know the Cowboys are a big draw on Thanksgiving, obviously. And if we add in the Chiefs, it's like we get the biggest Thanksgiving game ever. And now they're like, well, wait a second, we already know the Chiefs and the Bills is a massive draw. Let's put it on Thanksgiving. And again, it's synergy. It's a double bounce on a trampoline. But it is a strategic move, because they know that game is going to get so many views anyway no matter what day it is. It could be on a random Tuesday morning, and everybody is watching that Chiefs-Bills game. So it's really like, well, wait, do we want to burn that and put it on Thanksgiving, or do we want to put a lesser matchup like the Broncos and the Steelers, which quite frankly is not going to move the needle that heavily, but since it's Thanksgiving, it'll get a boost? So they're clearly trying to go for the extra synergy. Clearly trying to go for that extra synergy. Eagles Cowboys, this matters. Let's go. division rival, already a massive draw. Oh, Eagles Cowboys is always a massive draw. Let's go. Let's go. Chiefs Bills, massive, massive, massive draw. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So it's really interesting to see the avenue that they are taking. But to me, it also really does highlight who the main draws are and the multiplication effect they're looking to create. And I find it interesting. I mean, look, now you've got Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Who do we have? The Eagles, right? The Packers, the Bears, right? It's like we've got these foundational franchises that don't necessarily come and go. It's just that as long as these teams are even relatively competent and relatively competitive, it's over, right? Everybody's going to want to talk about them. Everybody wants to watch them. Primetime games, holiday games, whatever it is. And so these matchups are cool because it did feel for a little while. I remember, what was it? I think the first Christmas game was the Chiefs and the Steelers, and it was just kind of like, this is kind of a weird game. I think also one of the other holiday games was the Texans and the Chiefs, I think, or something. But these games definitely feel like a Packers-Bears game matters, right? Those are intense divisional games. Bills-Broncos is a playoff rematch and potentially a crucial seeding aspect. Rams-Seahawks, obviously Rams-Seahawks is also a division game. The one game that doesn't matter as much as the Eagles and the Texans, and that's a Christmas Eve game. So I'm curious to see how this all kind of unfolds. Holidays definitely get a little crazy, especially in terms of how they're being discussed, because a lot of the shows, sometimes I forget what days, but sometimes the shows are on, sometimes they're not. Sometimes like Colin or First Things First will be on, and you're like, wait, they're actually on today, and you don't realize it. I forget if that's either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or whichever it is. And so to me, these games are not just standalone games. It's the conversation leading up to it, the conversation during it, and the conversation after it. And that's the only thing that sometimes holiday games kind of take away, the conversation leading up to it is sometimes cut short. Same thing afterward, right? If you have a game on a Friday, Black Friday, or whatever, and then you go on to Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you kind of skip over that game. A game that's on Christmas Eve, again, Christmas Day, I'm pretty sure none of the shows are on Christmas Day. And then I don't know what Christmas Day is. I don't know if it's Friday, Saturday, whatever day it is. Like, now on the 26th, if we actually have, are people working, or is it Saturday or Sunday right now? I'd have to look that up. So then it's just that we have all these awesome games that we're not necessarily 100% diving into. So I am curious how you guys feel about the holiday slate, how these games unfold. Again, to be clear, I'm super excited about it, and I think the matchups are fascinating, but I just find myself increasingly loving more and more all of the conversations leading up to it, all the conversations during it, all the conversations after it. And there are times when I was like, I remember making videos, I think I did it last year or maybe 2 years ago, where it's like this game ends, I make a post-game clip, and the discussion is not really there because it's Thanksgiving. It's the holidays. It's Christmas. It's just that, then I'll have people kind of pop in and be like, oh, I've been with my family all day. Yeah, this game was crazy, right? And I don't know. I wonder if sometimes the viewership numbers are a lot higher for these games, but people aren't as dialed in, right? They're not really as focused. Last year, I know I definitely had to go back and rewatch them once I got home, and I had to rip through them because it was late night, and I was like, yeah, okay. In completion. I had to just keep skipping and going as fast as I could because I had 3 games that I had to get through, and I wanted to make all the clips and post them as quickly as possible. I think that was one of the games. Wasn't that the weird game with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, Ravens-Bengals? I think that was the night game that day, if memory serves me correctly. And then it was the Cowboys-Chiefs in the middle game, and then the Packers and the Lions in the early game. And like I said before, that first game, I'm always traveling. That's when I'm on my way to wherever I'm having Thanksgiving dinner and stuff. So yeah, but the schedule release has become a party. The schedule release has become a party and greatly emphasized, and it's why the NFL is undefeated, man. They just know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, especially with all the schedule release videos now, which are just getting more and more ridiculous. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys all think about the slate for the holiday games. Do you love them? Do you not like them? How do you feel about them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you be part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.